Welcome to the second episode of SOAP Web Services tutorial. In this episode, I'm very excited to show you how to consume a SOAP-based web service in PeopleSoft application. Now, let's navigate to a weather forecasting website that is providing a free SOAP-based web service. Let me paste the URL in address bar. Here, we can see a list of operations that we can perform using this web service. We will discuss one of the operations in this tutorial. Before that, let me click on the WSDL hyperlink. Here we go. This is our WSDL. If you remember, we discussed in our previous episode how important is WSDL to consume a web service in PeopleSoft, because it contains critical information about what operation we can do using this web service and what kind of format PeopleSoft should use for the request message and what we can expect as a response message. All this information is part of WSDL file. Let me show you that information in this WSDL. I will scroll down and take a look at first operation. Our first operation name is located here. If you go through this description, basically what it does is this web service will respond back with forecasted weather information based on the input parameters we provide as part of request message. Let me show you those input parameters. I am scrolling little up. Here we can see what kind of message PeopleSoft need to send in order for this web service to respond. Next, here are some of the parameters we can provide as input to get the forecasted weather information. Latitude, longitude, product, start time, end time, and couple of other parameters. Let me show you how this input and output parameters work using a graphical user interface. Let me open a new tab and paste the URL for graphical user interface. Basically, these are the input parameters that are part of request message but in a user-friendly format. The top grid shows the list of operations we can perform using web service. I have selected option 1, which means we want weather forecast information for one specific location. Next, we need to provide the latitude and longitude information of that specific location. I have selected the product as time series, which means we want weather forecast information hour by hour. Let's move to the next parameter, times. Basically, it is asking from what date to what date you need the forecasted weather information. I will provide start date time as today, end time after a couple of days. And lastly, as part of variable parameter, we can get different kind of weather forecast information, but I want only hourly temperature information. Now I will go ahead and submit our input parameters. As soon as I submit, you can see the expected output with forecasted weather information. Now you know the format of the response message. Before I jump into PeopleSoft application to consume this web service, I want to test this web service through a third-party software called SOAP UI. It's a free software for web service testing, just to do a quick sanity check before we start making any changes to PeopleSoft application. I will go ahead and open a new tab and type SOAP UI download. And I will go ahead and click the very first link and I will click on download SOAP UI open source. As you can notice, SOAP UI installation file is getting downloaded. Once it is downloaded, I will go ahead and install it. After installing, when you open SOAP UI for the first time, you should see something like this. I will go ahead and close this. We are doing SOAP testing, so I will click on SOAP. Let's give some name to our project. Let's grab our WSDL URL. So if you remember, this is our WSDL URL. Let me copy it. I'll paste it here and I'll click OK. As you can see, SOAP UI automatically pulled all the operations available through this web service. As you know, we are interested in this specific operation. Let me expand it and double click on the request one. As you can see here, SOAP UI automatically created a template request message for us. I will go ahead and delete the optional parameters. I think weather parameters is an optional parameter. I will go ahead and delete that. I will go ahead and provide some sample values for other parameters. I had some issues with aliases. Let me go ahead and delete them. Now I will go ahead and kick off the integration. It looks like we ran into some issue. Oops, I forgot to delete the alias from the end tag. Let me go ahead and delete it. Let's give it one more shot. This time we were successful. As you can see, we can see the forecasted weather information. Since our web service is working as expected, now let's jump into PeopleSoft application to consume this web service. And when we create request message using PeopleCode, we need to ensure that it follows this specific format. Before I configure any integration in PeopleSoft, I would always like to make sure all integration broker components are up and running. Let's go ahead and check them one by one. I'm logging into my PeopleSoft application. First, let's check if we can ping our local gateway. In order to do that, I will navigate to PeopleTools, Integration Broker, Configuration, Gateways. I will search for the local gateway. I will click on Ping Gateway. Success. I have scratched off one item in my checklist. Let's move on to the second item, which is pinging our local node. In order to do that, I will navigate to Integration Broker, Integration Setup, Nodes. Let's do a blanket search. Now I will sort based on default local node and select the default local node. I will navigate to Connectors tab, then click on Ping Node button. Our ping was successful, which is good. Let's move on to the next test. Now I will make sure we have web service target location in place. This is very important for SOAP-based integration. Navigate to Integration Broker, Configuration, Service Configuration. Click on Setup Target Locations Hyperlink. This is exactly where you need to configure web service target location. Mine is in place. If you want to configure, just follow the format described here. And I will go ahead and click OK. Now I am into my last verification. As part of this verification, I want to make sure if PeopleSoft is able to communicate with our WSDL endpoint. The way I would verify that is I will create a new external node, and for that external node I will use the URL address of our web service endpoint. Then I will try to ping that external node and see if it is successful or not. Let me show you that. Now I'm navigating to Nodes page to create our new external node. Let's give some name to our external node. Click Add, give some description. I will select the node type as external. Let's use some user ID who have access to invoke integration. Now I will navigate to Connectors tab and select the connector ID as HTTP. I will change the HTTP property to GET. Next, I will paste the URL address of our web service endpoint. Complete URL is not required, just the web server information is good enough. I will save our external node and I will try to ping the external node. This confirms that PeopleSoft is able to successfully communicate with our third-party URL. If it fails, you might need to install digital certificate to securely communicate with third-party URL. I just created this external node to verify the communication. Since it is successful, I'll go ahead and delete this external node. Now our route is clear to consume our WSDL URL in PeopleSoft. Let's go ahead and do that. To consume WSDL in PeopleSoft, we have to navigate to PeopleTools, Integration Broker, Web Services, Consume Web Service. Let's select WSDL URL option, and this is our WSDL URL address. Let me copy that and I will paste here at WSDL URL. I will tab out and click on Next button. Here PeopleSoft automatically extracted the WSDL service. If you want, you can view the WSDL. I will go ahead and click on the Next button. And these are the different operations available through this web service. As we discussed before, we are going to select only the very first operation. I will click Next. Based on the underlying WSDL, PeopleSoft automatically created the request and response messages and gave some random names. Let's use the same WSDL names as request and response messages. Let's change it to the whatever the name given by our web service. I'll click next. By default, we can use the WSDL node to communicate with our third-party web service instead of we creating a new external node like we did before. I will use the default WSDL node. I'll go ahead and click on the finish button. The good news is PeopleSoft has created all the integration definitions for us. As you can see, it has created service operation, request message, message schema, response message, routing. Entire process was automated. All we need to do is to give security to our service operation as well as assign a right user to our external node. I will go ahead and do those two things. To grant security to our newly created service operation, we have to navigate to People Tools, Integration Broker, Integration Setup, Service Operations. Let's search for our service operation, NDFD, and this is our service operation. And I will click on Service Operation Security and provide right permission list to make this integration work. So since it is demo environment, I'm using PT1000. I'll save and I will close our Service Operation Security. Now I will navigate to Routings tab, click on the default routing that was created and enable log detail to header and detail so that we can view the request and response message in Service Operation Monitor. I'll go ahead and save our service operation. Click OK. Now let's navigate to the WSDL node. In order to navigate to WSDL node, I'll click on Nodes. Remember, PeopleSoft communicates with third-party web service through this WSDL node. And here for the default user field, you need to provide the user that has access to our service operation and nothing else. For the sake of this demonstration, let's keep it simple and use VP1. I'll go ahead and save it, and this completes the security setup. Alright, now we are all set to test our integration setup by sending a request message to our web service endpoint. Remember, we have to create the request message in a specific format as shown here to receive a response. I will go ahead and compose this format using PeopleCode. Let me open my app designer. I have opened my app designer. I'll go ahead and create a brand new app engine and I will include an action. The action should be PeopleCode. I'll go ahead and save our app engine. I'll click OK and I will double click to open our PeopleCode editor. I will navigate to PeopleBooks to get some help with some template code to create a SOAP request message. Here we go. Here we have some template PeopleCode that creates a SOAP request message for us. Let me copy it. I will go ahead and paste in our PeopleCode editor. Let's fix the method. Let me open the SOAP editor. In our case, this is the method. Let me paste our method here. We can add an additional parameter to the add method that designates this method as a request message. In order to do that, I need to add one, as you can see here. Let's see what else we got in our request message. It looks like there are some attributes to this method. Encoding style is an attribute. In order to add attribute, we need to get hold of the method that we just added. We can do that by using method node property. We added a method and we are getting hold of that method using method node property. Now we can add attribute for this method. And this is how we add the attribute. And let me show you one more time. And this is the attribute we just added. We are not using item as parameter in our web service. Let's add all the parameters used in our web service. Communication between two applications always happen through a message. Let me instantiate the message that was created for this web service. Let me paste the next couple of lines of PeopleCode. Basically, the first line is converting the SOAP doc into an XML message. As you know, data is always communicated in XML format. And the last line actually puts that XML document inside the request message. And finally, I'll kick off the integration by using the delivered sync request method. I'll go ahead and save our App Engine program. I received some incompatible data assignment errors. It looks like I need to fix a few declarations. Let me go ahead and do that. I will go ahead and save our App Engine. Let me go ahead and kick off our App Engine. Click OK. After a process ran to completion, I just opened the message log and App Engine ran successfully. Let's go ahead and take a look at request and response messages. I'll navigate to People Tools, Integration Broker, Service Operation Monitoring, and Synchronous Services. I will go ahead and click Refresh Details. Let's take a look at our request message. Here you can see our request message. We have successfully sent a request message to our third-party web service. And let's take a look at our response message. As you can see here, we have successfully received weather forecast information from our web service. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, signing off, Siva Koya, your PeopleSoft partner.